AEW Dynamite is having their 6th anniversary show, and it's going to be Wednesday, October 1st at Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in South Florida. Very cool, very big event. This is awesome. Anthony Bowens is doing his thing now. He was with the Acclaimed, not anymore. He's doing his thing solo, and it's just awesome. You're down here, make the trek down to South Florida. What are your thoughts, first of all, this big anniversary show, 6th anniversary AEW Dynamite?
It's fantastic. 6 years of AEW Dynamite. There's a lot to celebrate, a lot of great moments, especially for the pride of professional wrestling. Obviously, there was a lot with my former tag team, the Acclaimed, and there's going to be a lot more when it comes to me as a single entity coming up as well. So I'm excited that everybody gets to celebrate it, and Miami, Hollywood, Florida, they get to celebrate along with us.
And it's really cool because we want everybody to come down to South Florida, near Hollywood, in Hollywood, to the Hard Rock Live, pack this place. AEW always does an awesome job. They have a mix of everything, all different styles, all different talent, which is really cool. And if you can't, you could always watch AEW Dynamite Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on
HBO Max and TBS.
Yes. Thank you, Anthony. So, you know how many times I've said that, and still I'm like, wait, TNT, TBS, I know I'm going to get it right. Wait a second. So just for you, how has it been being a part of AEW and that visibility and being able to get out there and show your work?
It's been a thrill to be a part of AEW for the last, well, at least for me, I've been around for 5 years. I'm still part of a foundation of the company. You know, you can't think of AEW without the pride of wrestling, without the Scissor King, without the Acclaimed. Unfortunately, I don't want to talk much about my former tag team partner. But it's such a thrill, especially because I get to go out on television every single week, wrestle, live my dream, and do it on television in front of the greatest fans in the world.
I know you don't want to talk a lot about them, but when you did get your how did you get your big break, first of all, with AEW? And then, I know things aren't good now, but what was it like getting started with the Acclaimed and with Max?
So the Acclaimed got their start from our owner, Tony Khan. It was Tony Khan's brainchild to bring Max and I together, unfortunately. I guess at the time, fortunately, because, you know, we needed an opportunity, the both of us did, and we helped each other. We became the best tag team in the history of this company. It was rough at the start. It was rough in a lot of different ways that people don't even know about. But I soldiered on because that's the type of professional that I am. We ended up becoming AEW Tag Team Champions, the longest reigning Trios Champions. But now that that part is in my past, I'm focused on moving forward as a singles entity and making more memories and winning a lot of championships.
And you just defeated Max Caster, too.
That's right.
So you had twice now. You had the big matches with him, beat him twice, put him in his place. You did, Anthony Bowens.
And I'm still not done.
What is it like transitioning to singles wrestling in AEW?
Well, I was a singles wrestler before I joined AEW. I was on the independent circuit for 8 years as a singles performer. So it's exciting to go back to that, to be able to express my art, I guess, creatively by myself. And it's a little bit different from a cardiovascular perspective as well, because in tag team wrestling, if you're tired, you can just tag out. Singles wrestling, it's all up to you. So it's a whole different animal, but it's something that I'm excited about.
And talking about the indies, I was interested because it was Santino Marella that got you into pro wrestling, so to speak, and I just wanted you to talk about that, and then training with under Pat Buck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so back in 2012, I was at the gym, and Santino Marella happened to be at the gym, and I'm not a guy who likes to bother anybody, but I was like, when am I ever going to see this guy again? So I took a photo with him, and he stopped me, and he said, "Hey, you look like a pro wrestler. Have you ever thought about becoming one?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And he gave me the number to Pat Buck, who also is a producer here at All Elite Wrestling. And I started right away the next week. And I lost my train of thought. But
that's all right, Anthony. I do that all the time. But then with Pat Buck, since he had the connection with AEW, he's worked for AEW, was that how you got looked at to come to AEW through Pat?
Oh no, that was a whole series of events that would take forever to explain. But it was quite the perfect story.
Read it in the book. Read it in the book.
Yeah, read it in the book, which I actually have started writing. I've got about 45,000 words done. But I'm reaching a point where there's a lot of stuff in my childhood where I have to self-reflect and putting that on the paper is like really hard to do. So that's going to be a tedious process.
But you know what? But sport-wise, because I was going to address this a little bit. So, it grew up in New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey,
Yes.
and then let me see here, because you went to Nutley High School,
Correct.
up in New Jersey, played baseball there.
Yep.
And then from there, you played college ball for Seton Hall as well as Montclair State.
You're good at this.
So you did a lot of baseball, and was that your sport too when you were real little, playing baseball with youth leagues, or you did other sports?
I was just a baseball and pro wrestling fan. Pro wrestling was my life to start, other than the Power Rangers. And then probably when I got around 10 years old, I discovered Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants.
I was going to ask you why a Giants fan. How does a Jersey kid become a Giants fan?
I was watching the New York Mets versus the Giants in the division series in 2000. I thought these guys are pretty cool, the Giants specifically. And then the following year, Barry Bonds started hitting all these home runs. That's when I started to play Little League. One thing led to another. I played baseball at a high level through high school, won a bunch of accolades there. Then went to Division I NCAA school, Seminole University, then transferred over to one of the top Division III schools in the country, Montclair State, before crossing over to pro wrestling. So those are my two loves. There's nothing that I love more. Those are my two passions.
And with baseball, because you mentioned high school a little bit, I brought it up, but how good were your teams? And did you make all state, all area, all county, that type of accolades and all? And did your team ever go to the state Final Fours, anything like that?
So in high school, I played for the Nutley Raiders from my hometown of Nutley. Our team was honestly very good, but we had a bunch of kids that just chose or made the wrong decisions, and that ended up becoming a contributing factor on the field. So we didn't get as far as we should. I always did the work. I always put in a really good effort every single time I was on the ball field. And senior year, I was all area, all conference, all county, and then I believe all state group 2. I just missed the top.
What's wrong with them? I'm going to group 1. Come on, Anthony. You should have been group 1.
So close. Honestly, I spent the last, I think, 10 games playing with a cracked metal bat, and I still hit over 400. Had no idea it was cracked. So if I had a good bat, I probably would have.
You'd have been tier 1. Then you would have been tier 1.
So I did a really good job in high school, and then ended up.
Anthony, you must have been mashing the ball. How the heck do you crack a metal bat?
I don't know. I have no idea. It was just I noticed it started to sound different, but I went, all right, well, I'm still getting hits every 5 seconds. And then I remember I smoked a baseball at the shortstop and went, that ball should have been destroyed. And I just happened to check and saw it was cracked. I was like, no.
It's so cool. The baseball background is so cool. Did you know that Macho Man
Yes.
started his wrestling career, but before that he was into baseball and did minor league ball too?
Yes, minor league ball with the Cardinals.
That's right, Cardinals.
Yes.
And I would think he was in the Reds organization a little bit, and he was an ambidextrous catcher. He was
Yes.
able, because he got hurt and he had to learn to throw with the other arm, and he did. Just an amazing athlete. But they're not, that I know of, there are not many baseball players that have transitioned to pro wrestling at a higher level. Football players,
Sure,
some other sports, but I know baseball. So I think that's really cool. From your standpoint, you're a baseball player coming in. Mm-hmm. Just how was the transition from that sport to this sport? It's a different sport.
It's two very different things. There's only contact you make in baseball is with a bat in baseball, and obviously professional wrestling is the toughest sport there is in terms of conditioning and contact and combining every type of athleticism into one. So it was a bit of it was tough. It was really tough. The conditioning was tough. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And I've hit 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. I've hit sliders. I've done all that. Maybe not the major league level, but it's still very hard. But wrestling is just the toughest thing I've ever done.
Obviously, you're in college and playing college ball. Were the aspirations getting signed, getting drafted, things like that? And when was that point where you were like, okay, I'm going to hang up the cleats now?
My aspirations were always to be a professional baseball player, because I never knew I could become a pro wrestler. So I put all my effort into that. Unfortunately, my senior year, I had some elbow issues that caused an extreme amount of pain. I was eating a lot of, ibuprofen, which wasn't very healthy. It was just to get through practice sometimes. So I realized that I had to shut down for a while and heal my elbow before I continued that pursuit. However, before any of that could happen, the whole Santino Marella thing happened, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take a risk and try something different. I'm an athlete. I'm a highly skilled athlete at that. I'm a 5-tool player. Why don't I become wrestling's 5-tool player?
Do you have a Santino Marella Cobra sleeve?
Actually, I did.
Yes!
I do have one somewhere at my parents' house.
Yes. And did you ever get to meet Barry Bonds?
I met Barry Bonds last month, my hero. There's not a person on this planet that I guess to use wrestling terms, mark out over, except for Barry Bonds. There was an event in Los Angeles back in July, and I was invited to the event, and I was able to interview some people on the red carpet, including Sammy Sosa, Darryl Strawberry, and the guest of honor for that show for a Lifetime Achievement Award was Barry Bonds, and I was able to interview him, was able to get a photo with him, wasn't able to get any words out, I don't think, like this interview. It was incredible. He was very kind, he was very sweet. I made him laugh, which was cool. So that was probably one of the better moments in the last few years.
And that's a cool moment too, because with pro wrestling especially, a lot of the pro wrestlers, and they get hounded. You all get hounded everywhere, airports, hotels, wherever you all are going. But being able to do that, meet Barry Bonds, and he was very cool with you, does that translate for you in just treating fans and others?
I always treat fans with the utmost respect. Every so often there'll be somebody that's disrespectful, and I'll remain professional. But then every so often I like to give it back a little bit. But for the most part, wherever you find me, most people like to scissor. I've scissored people in all types of crazy places. and thankfully, that's all they want to do, because sometimes outside of the realm of pro wrestling, I can be a little bit shy. And, most people just want to come up, I don't want to bother you, but can we scissor, take a quick pic, and then we move about our day. So it happens so much now that I have to be a little bit on guard, because people spring up on me while I'm shopping, while I'm at the airport. Just in randoms, when I'm walking down the street, sometimes people honk the horn and yell scissor me. It's really cool.
A little more about the baseball, and we'll move on to get this wrapped up with the pro wrestling, but this baseball is it's one of my loves.
Sure.
I was going to ask you about the Marlins, because I was fearful. Well, you still booed him anyway, because I was fearful you were a Mets fan coming from New Jersey, and then I was like, should I ask him about the Marlins, should I not? But then when I saw you were a Giants fan, I was like, oh good, I can ask him, I'll ask him about the Marlins. Not everyone's, but just what is it like? Have you thrown out the first pitch in any baseball games, working in pro wrestling, and what is it like even in South Florida? Do you follow the baseball, you follow your Giants and other teams?
So I've been fortunate enough, specifically this year, to establish a relationship with the San Francisco Giants, which is a dream come true. Once a month, as long as not directly once a month, but once a month I've been able to get up there as my schedule would allow it to, and do appearances at the Giants game at Oracles Park. I've sang the 7th inning stretch, I've announced the lineups, I have thrown the first pitch. That was the same week that I met Barry Bonds, which was insane. We were able and had a very successful wrestling day, and able to hopefully establish a good partnership with AEW when we come to the area. But that's what the pride of professional wrestling is all about, is moving this industry and moving this company forward more into the mainstream. And it's really fun doing that. I've done a bunch of other baseball appearances as well. Nationals game, that is a fun memory where I believe I hit Abraham Lincoln, or George Washington, excuse me.
The running presidents.
Yes, the running presidents. I smashed him over the head with a steel chair in front of everybody, which was very, very fun. I do regular appearances on MLB Network, which is also fun. Former employee of the network, so it's really interesting to see the crossover between baseball and pro wrestling, which is pretty cool to see.
And how cool is that? Working for MLB Network. I mean, this is just, did you get to meet any of the pro ball players that work for MLB Network?
So when I worked there, I had good dynamics with Harold Reynolds. He was super cool. He'd always buy everybody Chinese food every Friday.
And he does a tremendous job too.
Fantastic job.
My God, the analyzing things and his knowledge and how he represents it, broadcasts, it's really good.
Yep, he's a quality individual. Pedro Martinez and I had a little inside joke. I I'm a muscular guy, so he would call down the hallway, call me Flacco, which means skinny, just to kind of get under my skin. So we had a good rapport, a lot of good memories in Studio 42 playing home run derby. So it's always a good time. It's also very cool to go back there as a guest. It's kind of like a full circle moment where you go from employee to guest on the show. So it's cool.
Are you incorporating your Giants fandom colors into your ring gear?
I used to on the Independents. However, orange is taken by Taz.
Oh, come on, Taz.
And I don't
He's doing
wanna
commentary,
fight
though.
Taz.
I know.
end up in a Taz mission, and Hook is one of my best friends, and I don't want to make Hook angry either. So out of respect, I lay off the orange. But if I could, I would.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. We got the big anniversary show, AEW Dynamite, 6th anniversary.
Yes.
Wednesday, October 1st, Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Might be seeing the Young Bucks at the casino, Anthony. I'm just saying.
They got all that money that they won. They better not bring it around me, because I might beat them up for it and become the richest pride of professional wrestling in the history of the sport. But we got a lot of fun stuff coming up on the show Wednesday. 6-year anniversary of Dynamite. It's super exciting. It's been an honor to be a part of the show the last 5 years, and like I said earlier, it's going to be an honor to continue to contribute to all the memories on Dynamite.
And Billy Gunn. Have to talk to you about Billy, of course.
Sure.
And outstanding tag team back in the day, New Age Outlaws, and he's been Chuck and Billy even. And then he did some with Beautiful People.
Yep.
And it's just amazing to see his career. And singles as well. He had a very good singles career, and he's still in great shape. What have you learned? It is it's just insane. What have you learned from Billy and just being able to be a part of your journey with Billy?
I've learned a lot from Billy Gunn. We haven't been speaking either these last couple of weeks. I had a little bit of a tumultuous relationship, especially in Scotland. He got a little scary out there coming to the ring to confront me, so I haven't really spoken to him. But prior to those issues, he's been phenomenal to be around, super funny, and super helpful with anything, any question that you might have in terms of wrestling. He's just a walking encyclopedia of knowledge, and always great to have a back and forth conversation with him about how to approach things in the industry and our weekly live TV show. So it's always been fun to work with him.
Were you a fan of Billy? Were you a fan? I know you mentioned Santino, but who were you a fan of? Yeah, when you were growing up and watching wrestling.
I will admit, I was a fan of Billy Gunn. He was my wrestling figure-fed champion. This Signature Series 2 action figure, specifically with the blue gear. I did like this as if I had the figure in my hand. But he was my figure-fed champion, so it was pretty cool for him to eventually become my on-screen adopted dad.
And then I also want to mention, we'll wrap it up with this, but I want to mention LGTBQ, because you did come out, and when you did do that in pro wrestling, just how have you been received? It seems like our culture has changed a lot. Say if you came out if you were wrestling back in the day 20 years ago, it may have been a different thing, who knows, but just what does it mean for you and you representing?
To be able to represent the LGBTQ plus community every week, because I felt like I didn't have much representation when I was growing up watching wrestling. I mean, there was maybe 1, 2, if that, but it's really cool to be able to live my dream and also have people relate to your story and have people relate to your journey and know that you're impacting folks positively just by living your dream. It's been great working at AEW because I always feel free to be myself. It was never a worry. As a matter of fact, that was one of the contributing factors to coming here in the first place. Was when I was first a extra here, I just noticed people like Sunny Kiss and Nyla Rose walking around not worrying about anything, judgment free, and being able to live their lives normally, like everything should be. So it's a great environment to work in. It's an environment where I've always been able to be myself, which I'm super grateful for.
Anthony, thank you so much for the time. We look forward to seeing AEW Dynamite. He is wrestling's 5-tool player.
That's right.
And he's also a wrestling's 5-tool interviewer. That's what I'm saying. Interviewee, I should say. Well, actually, you do some stuff too, because you interviewed Barry Bonds and you do all that too. So you can do interviewee. And you do. You're a jack of all trades. You're wearing many hats. Thank you so much, Anthony.
No problem.